What's up everyone, it's Wally the Robot here, and today we are playing Milio Mid. We are going to be going against the Zed, and I wanted to see if he could be viable in the mid lane. Whether it's against Asol, Zed, Katarina, Akali, essentially anyone that can burst you down quickly. The reason why I wanted to see if he's able to is because of if he's not building tank or shield base, like if you don't build his core support items, I'm curious to know if he could actually survive and be able to have enough sustainability and or enough burst damage to win the fight 1v1 or be useful in a team fight at that point, especially when you're going against a Yi in the jungle as well. So I have to be mindful of that. The idea here is I want to go a full burst build, so I want to rush my AP boots. I want to be able to get away from the Zed and the Yi in case they do decide to gank. And then after that, I want to build into a Ludens because I want to clear waves as fast as possible. And then the other thing is Magic Pen. So after that, I want to build Magic Pen and then a Rabadon's shortly after. So the other thing I'm trying to learn about the Milio's Q is how you saw just there, why it deviates left or right sometimes. I don't know if it's based on how it hits the, I guess you would say enemy, or if it's just random, if it decides to go left, right, based on where Milio's standing. But I don't think that's the case, just like there. So if anyone has any idea of how his Q works and how to make the most of it, leave it down in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it because I'm always looking to improve and I'm a pretty competitive person. But here I'm trying to see if the Zed will track, and it looks like he did to me. So I end up going back down, but he ends up staying in lane. So I could have just pushed all the way up to Riven and I would have been able to help Teemo secure a kill. So that's a mistake there by me. I thought he had warded the push earlier, so that's why I didn't do that. The E goes for a gank. I spam Q'd. I should have led to where it would have intercepted the E, but I didn't do that. So I also noticed that I'm going to hit level 5 before the Zed does, which is good news to me. I want to use my max auto range and max Q range to farm efficiently without taking too much damage, make it harder for Zed to land his skill shots, and continue to see us as best as I can. So we picked up the boots and I want to rush Ludens. I spend too much time here because I misclicked. Well, not misclicked, I guess it was mistapped. But getting the ring too is actually beneficial too. You want it for the cooldowns, and it's better than not having additional cooldown. So I still want to push as fast as I can. As you can see, I don't do any damage to the Zed right now. So what I'm running on Milio to help that issue is I'm running Arcane Comet, Brute Force. I'm running Giant Slayer, Alacrity with the attack speed, and then for my final one, I'm running Scorch from the Domination tree because right now I just want to poke. Right here, when the Yi came down and the Zed saw the Kayn wanting to go for the Yi, Zed came in and dove me. So that was a good job on the Zed. I let the Kayn know it's not worth ganking the Zed because Zed's just going to play far back. And Kayn won't be able to gank, essentially. Now, it would have been beneficial if Kayn would gank when Zed's pushed up to the turret, but Kayn's not there, so it's a lot harder for Kayn to do the ganks at that point, which is understandable. It's why I don't try to overextend as much, and if I do overextend, I'm kind of hinting at like, hey, I have Kayn here, or my jungle's here, whoever it may be. This is a good play by Zed. He tries to go for a quick takedown. Doesn't happen. I want to recall, but I noticed that there's another wave coming up. And I also noticed that Yi's going to go fight Kane. I notice now, and I go up to help. Kane's low health. I shield him. The 1 second delay on the Yi, I would have had a little bit more damage on it. And I would have been fine. Or because then Kane and I could both turn, but I think we'd both die to the Zed after that. So the smart play was to just kind of back off. The thing I'm doing now is I know Zed wants to dive. My ult is up, and Zed doesn't know that. So him diving me here, it would have been close. If he had gotten one more auto off on me, he would have gotten the kill. But instead, I ended up picking it up, which is good news. And he died to a minion, so that was worth for me in the end. I take bad pathing here because I thought Kane was going to pick up the kill on the E, and he doesn't. I thought Timo was up there as well, but he ended up dying, unfortunately. And I was trying to cut the Yi off because I saw that Yi was running towards river. So that wasn't too bad of a play by me, but it could have been done better. Kane wanted me to attack the giant, or I guess I want to call it Big Scuttle. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. As you can see, Zed's burst is really, really good, but since I have my Ludens, it's pretty good for me as well. I played that poorly. I should have ran to the Kane instead of away from Kane. So, I mean, I guess I should have traded 1 for 1, but that didn't end up happening due to my poor play and poor decision making at the time. The other thing I want to note is some people think Gnasher's Tooth on Milio is not worth it, but it's not the attack speed you're going for. It's the bonus adaptive damage, magic and AD, or AP and AD damage that gets applied on top of a 15% bonus of AP damage or AD damage that you're doing, and that's the whole point. So every auto attack becomes essentially almost like an ability, especially if you're going a full burst build. But I don't decide to opt into the Gnasher's Tooth. I didn't see it viable or worth it because I'm not trying to run to the front lines, but I end up doing so anyways because I'm thinking, hey, if I can get one shield off, get one like let my ally take one more auto attack, we'd be good. The other thing I noticed is that as soon as I backed Kane ping to attack Dragon, I don't know if I'm able to resize my store, my item shop. Otherwise, I would have been able to see it a lot better. And I don't think I can move it per se, but it didn't end up happening. So that's a misplay by me as well. So just something to note. I gotta fix in the next, before my next game, is see if I can't resize the store. That way I can actually see pings on the mini map, which is not a bad thing to do. You want to be as viable as you can to your team, and that's really that. Here we pick up a kill on the Yi, which is good, and then I get bursted down. I should have recalled, but instead I wanted to stay. I noticed that both the Seraphine and the Zed were staying in lane. I didn't want the Seraphine to go down. And Zed goes for his iconic WE, which gets the slow. If he got the slow, he was going to Q into it. If he Q'd, he would have ulted, and then I would have died. My ult's not off cooldown. So I know that bot lane went mid to go push, and understandably so. So I go bot lane to push the minions here, which is not bad. You know, and I'm thinking, well, I just saw Tristana, so Tristana's probably going to back, and, you know, this is going to be a free push a little bit. I get 3 waves. That doesn't happen. As you see, she's there. I have an empowered Q, and the burst damage is there. I should have kept running away, but I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference. Either I auto attack or I run and just die. It wouldn't have made a difference, especially even if I had used my E 2 times over. No one would have been close enough to me. The Kane was, but I think he backed. No, he ended up dying. But there's nothing I could have done about that. So what my plan is now is to keep CSing. I still need to be able to get my burst damage. I need to stay relevant, and I am relevant. It's just once that one ability is up, I mean, it's up. There's not a whole lot I can do after that. Instead of going empowered Q or W, instead of maxing my W first, I think I would have got a lot more kills. My eyes, they see yellow, they click on yellow kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure I could have got a lot more damage off. That's another mistake I made. And I don't know if you can turn that off to where it's highlighting what abilities you need to be able to go for. And this is where I made another mistake. I should not have chased the Tristana. I should have stayed with the team. The team does pick up the kill on Yi, but I end up dying to the Senna. And then Kane gets a little over aggressive. He goes back in on the Trist. Trist has her ult, and then Kane goes bye-bye. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I'm trying to think now of how can I still be beneficial and relevant. I know the Riven's about to start to pop off. The Zed's popped off. I mean, you just saw that burst damage he just did onto the Teemo. And then, I mean, it's just insanely difficult. I overextend here. I wasn't really paying attention to the Senna's items at this time. And I wasn't realizing that she's going a full crit build. And that's really scary, to be honest with you. I'm going to try that build out when I get Senna, and then, you know, go from there. And this is where the Nashor's Tooth would make a difference. If I had Nashor's Tooth, that Raptor would have been dead a whole lot quicker. But with how slow it was taking for me to take it down, and my Q cooldown is just insanely long, it's you know, it's just not worth. But that was a good pickup by me. I'm guessing every time you W or you E to an ally, whoever you're partnered with, your Q will follow that. So you can use that to your advantage as well. And over here I misplay. Senna cut me off. The Zeb was going up. I thought the Zeb would come back down, and if he did choose to come back down, I would try to burst him. You'll see that the damage I just did to the Senna is pretty good, but this is when I realized that Senna went crit after that engagement. So but yeah, I mean, it makes a difference on how you do your level ups with your abilities. Your ideal situation is supposed to go max Q, max W, max E, and then R along the way when you can. That way everything stays relevant. You're still putting out damage. And I'm pretty sure if I went max Q, max W this game instead of maxing E, I think that Senna would have died, to be honest. Just a hunch. Or I would have been close enough to where I could just land an auto, and then she would have died that way, and I would have been able to survive it. So a lot of misplays by me. And I mean, it's all a learning experience. Here, I try to go in to save the Kane. Doesn't happen. And I also end up dying, which is unfortunate. Just a whole lot of bouncing around. I'm gonna be honest, this game gets prolonged a little too long, because I was thinking that maybe Jen could, you know, essentially come back to life. The Seraphine was doing great. The Teemo, his shrooms were putting out damage, but it felt like we weren't getting anywhere. But essentially, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil the end, because it's going to be another 9 minutes of this sad gameplay. They get the Baron, T-Hex, and Elder Dragon. I don't know why, I'm gonna be honest. I want to call Elder Dragon Edgelord so often, so much, it's not even funny. But I think that's a new name that I'm gonna start calling Elder Dragon. But yeah, I want Jen and Teemo to try to stay relevant, because like I said, I'm only burst. Once I use my W and Q, I'm essentially out of the game. And that delayed reaction there, with my Q, honestly, I ended up wasting it. I should have used it sooner, but he still would, if I'm not mistaken, he still would have gotten out. So, I want to fight for Baron here, but they don't do a good job with that. We get a nice pick on Tristana. I'm overextended. Riven is insanely strong. I get double teamed on the Riven and the Yi. And yeah, it's not fun. But that's what happens when you overextend. So, I don't know what ended up happening with the Kayn. He didn't maximize his ult time. If I'm not mistaken, the longer you stay in with Kayn's ult, the more health you'll get back. But he doesn't do that. He burns it way too quick. I mean, I could be wrong, and then you have the Kayn and the Zed just playing around with each other. And Kayn somehow survives, which is good. But he also doesn't go back in. He should have come with us. In doing so, we could have possibly got a pick on Senna. And I threw my Q behind me because I knew minions were chasing us. So, I mean, I'd get the CS gold, which is necessary for me to continue to stay relevant. I know I'm repeating myself, but I mean, it's true. It's an important factor. You must stay relevant in League of Legends. If you fall off, you put your team at risk and your team ends up losing. And this also goes for making correct play calls, such as knowing when to go in, not to overextend. This is bad positioning by me. I also I W and I go out of range and I overextend, and that's the result. That's what happens if you don't pay mind to the minimap. So, what can I improve on? Being more patient, watching minimap. I used to do a rule when I was playing League of Legends on the PC. I followed this guy's advice. He set alarm for 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds that alarm went off, I looked at the minimap. And then eventually it became second nature. But because I haven't played League in about 2.5 years until recently, I would say for about a month, a lot of my, I guess you say, map awareness, paying attention to allies and enemies, their positionings, it's kind of fallen off. But here we try to get a pick on the Senna, which I think we do. And again, you see how far I'm extended. It's not due to me being extended, it's the fact that everyone's retreating and I'm thinking everyone else wants to push the turret, because I'm wanting to push the turret hard right now, but we kind of can't, not with 2 turrets going down. They have super minions coming towards us, and then they're making their way to Elder Dragon, and well, I mean, Tristana's split push potential is just really strong, especially if you know what you're doing. And I was thinking of going Morello's as well, but they don't have any, no one on their team had any kind of lifesteal. So I didn't see it being useful or viable to even get that, not even because they have a heal. If anything, going against for a shield would have been better. And if I would have realized that they were on Elder Dragon, I would have queued the Elder Dragon and potentially could have picked up a kill that way too. Here, I'm overextended, as you can see. I tried to save Kane, but the Kane ulted, Zed flashed. So Kane doesn't get any of my healing, and I burned the ult, and then you see there that I just get picked off. So, I mean, I was just playing poorly this game, to be honest with you. My positioning was extremely bad. I was not paying attention to the map, and I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. So, but all of it's a learning experience. And here I'm thinking if I were to go like maybe a Spirit Visage to get more shield, because what Spirit Visage does is not only give you ability power resist, or magic resist, I'm sorry, I don't know why I called it that. It used to be an old term for League of Legends. But if I get magic resist, then that's not what I was going for. I was going for the shield and heals are more effective, but I was like, given how quick this game is about to end, I'd rather not go for it. I'd rather get the cooldown with, I forgot the item name, but it's the pink hand with the book. I gotta study up my items, to be honest with you. That's another thing. If you want to get good at League, you want to be able to know your items. You want to be able to know what does what, and being able to know that knowledge will also give you an edge in the game, especially if you keep your CS up. I see Trist in the top lane. She's smart. She's just doing quick pokes, and then this is where the game actually ends. We got 2 minutes left. The TX Max comes in. Riven ults me into the Seraphine, but the Seraphine has an insane buff, or not buff, shield. And then, I mean, that's that. So once I get a better understanding of Milio, I'll upload another video of him in the mid lane. If you have any tips, tricks with Milio on how to better make use of his Q, let me know in the comments below. Let me know also if you guys preferred or want to continue seeing my thought process on this, and if you want more in-depth versions of it, such as why I did this, why I did that, just let me know. And also, if you don't mind, drop a like, and I'll see you next time. So hope you guys have a great day, and peace.